Welcome everyone to my presentation, Eddie's Art Then and Now. Hi, I am Eddie Callis. I'm in my 30s. I'm I've been with Shallal since 2009. Early drawings. I used to express myself through drawings. I used to have bad headaches after seizures, which made me sad, but my little sister made me happy. See in this picture, me sad in my head, and my sister up, making me happy. I still express myself through my art now, with pictures of my thoughts around my head. When I was a child, I would be kept occupied with consequences, games, and drawing. People's portraits. This is a character I created when I was young called Pyrie, what was used in a website called Treasure Girls. Scribble games helped me learn how to draw, finding images in scribbles, like we did with Shallal for the embodied space. Portraits. I started doing portraits of families or people going out for meals to keep me occupied and stop me being bored.
What happens, Eddie, when you get bored?
I get very agitated and want to do something. This is some two band members I started drawing when we were out in the south of France. This is my very early drawing with soft pastels of my dad. This is a self-portrait with screen printing of me out in the sunset. This is a recent self-portrait. This is a commission. I also do commissions where I used oil pastels. This was Rory. Do you know Rory? I also do portraits with collage. Everybody knows Carl. This is his sister, Harriet. This was featured in the Cream of Art Cornish Talent magazine.
So did you have quite a bit? Was that
but it was
a magazine?
It was a special magazine for autism that had a lot of information and art about me in the page.
What were you art college?
I was in art college. I was 21 and just had my birthday. I also do portraits of support management. This is a recent portrait I did of one of the staff members, and they have these portraits up in their staff office. How were they made? Oh, they were made with oil pastels. This is another practice leader portrait with soft pastels. And this is another self-portrait of my practice leader with soft pastels. Another practice leader called Amanda with soft pastels. And is a recent portrait in progress, where sometimes support has to change and I have to regularly update.
This
And this
portrait,
cake
I'm
was
just going to say it's
sorry.
so much like the guy that's just taken over the whole management of the sport team that it just makes me laugh whenever I look at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everybody knows Dean Evans. This was a commission I did at the Open Studios of Dean Evans. And there's sometimes I do portraits of friends. This is a portrait of my friend Ollie with soft pastels and watercolors. And this is a portrait I did of my mum with watercolors and pen. That was used in my portrait book and animated as well.
What was I doing then?
In the animation, he was drinking a cup of tea. And this is a portrait I did of my sister. And in the animation of this, she was shaking her head to music. And I also did portraits of my tutors at college. I drew this of a guy called Charlie Watts, who sadly passed away when I was on the art and design course.
He loved it.
He loved it. And everybody knows Lisa Waterson. This is Lisa Waterson
How have you done that?
with watercolors and acrylic painting. And then I also did self-portraits and portraits of things that make me happy and put it onto a painting, and I called it Happy in the Abstract World, and it was sold in the Imagine exhibition at Found Art Gallery. And it has mixed media, collage and oil pastel. And recently I did a portrait of Mavs from the main company, and I think she also goes to open house for a get well card. It's a picture of her at the fashion show. And then I also did a self-portrait, but a 3D self-portrait of me at the fashion show using acrylic paint, cardboard, and paper mache. And then I also like doing ceramics. So I did a self-portrait. I did a portrait of Gary, the pottery teacher at Dritten, my day centre. This is a ceramic plaque. Now landscapes. I also do landscape. This was a landscape of the south of France, and this was the dolmens. I painted this with oil sticks, and this was a mixed media painting with collage and oil pastels and acrylic paint. This was Nansku. And this was a mixed media again, landscape, on canvas of a man in the landscape with a bird. I think it might have been Cambrai. I possibly sold it, can't really remember. Yeah. And then I also do portraits and commissions, projects and commissions. Sort of relates to the travel thing at Shallal main company at the moment, where through this I started doing a project with Media Wonderland, and made a film to do with travel, and I made a film called Go With The Flow. And then I also did a project last year with Shallal to do with bats, and I made a bat painting, and I was quite influenced by sound waves. And then I was asked to create a music lyric workshop, and people joined in by creating words on top of my track. And then I was also invited to exhibit in the SAT Autism for Art charity event in Old Billingsgate, London. There I am with my art, with my and there were another painting I did with mixed media collage called Milobate. The original painting got sold for 280 at Old Billingsgate, but the G clay print at the auction got sold for £665. But then I was also invited to be involved in a talk on West Country News, autism, and art fixers about my art. But I also like doing ceramics. These are some ceramics I've done in the past. These are some mugs.
Crab.
A crab, lobster. I'm a Cancer. Fine. And then this is a bowl I made with a ceramicist. This is a flower vase that I made for Mum for her birthday.
But now what do I use it as?
But now what does Mum use it for?
What do I use it for?
I think she uses it for carrying fruit in.
Berry bowl.
A berry bowl. Anyway. And then I also made a boat at Rim, and it got sold. Anyway. And then I also do figures. They all got sold. And I also created a little ceramic man. And then I also made my dad a chapati plate for his chapati with a crab inside because he's a Cancer as well. I was on the Access to Higher Education Diploma in Art and Design course. I spent 4 years studying art at Cornwall College, from doing art enrichment to an Access to Higher Education diploma. This screen grab is from a film I made for my final level 2 show, for which I received a distinction. A final show of Access to Higher Education course, installation with sound about time and my anxiety around it.
You have music?
It had head spinning with clocks, and it was in a room, and it had clocks sounds going on in the background, and he's saying, I don't understand time. And this was a figure on screen prints of me running out of time, and I'm not understanding the time.
Is that your face?
Yes. And then I also decided I wanted to do a plaster mold of my face. And then I experimented looking into how animation worked. So I wanted to create a zoetrope with me getting up from the sofa and switching it on, things relating to time. So the project was all got interesting in animation, and I was inspired by the first form of animation. So I made my own zoetrope. So now I go on to animation. Exploring Diagnosis Film, University of Exeter, I was invited to be involved with the project and paid to be involved with the project to do with animation. And I got given a free iPad, so I was delighted with that. So I tried out doing little stop motion animations by drawing a bow and going across a landscape. And then I was asked to come and do a talk in Falmouth about how I felt doing this project and what I liked about it.
Did you do a talk in Exeter?
Oh yeah, and I did a talk in Exeter.
Right.
The RAM.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then I also used animation in my music videos recently. And then here I am with my recent landscape painting of St Michael's Mount, and it was exhibited in the Red Wing Gallery. And there it is. Thank you for joining me. Thank you.